My name is Carl Raccah. I'm the Managing Director of Pineapple Productions and Media Limited, based in Alausa, Lagos, Nigeria. The idea first came to me of a children's channel back in 2011, when my son was about 8 months or so old. I'd come home from work and I'd see him watching Disney or CBBC, those channels. And I realized, kids at that age anyway are like a sponge, but I realized the learning that he was actually doing while viewing these channels, whether it was colors or cartoon characters or language, and it was really impressive. So I set about thinking, I wonder what there'd be or wonder what there is for Nigerian kids. And it didn't take too long for me to find out that there was really nothing for the Nigerian child that would communicate to them in terms of culture, in terms of color, black or brown, and really resonate with them and give them confidence in who they are, where they're from. So I thought, cha-ching, brainwave. And I thought, wow, by, in a year's time, I'll have a private jet parked at the airport and all of that. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I've still ordered the jet, but I haven't quite paid for it yet. It's taken from 2011 to now, basically, to get this project off the ground. In that time, I wasn't idle. I was earning money, putting it into pilots, episode pilots, ideas, trying to learn more about the terrain of children's television, and visiting brands and other potential sponsors to see who I could get behind this project. And the saddest thing of all, actually, was that no one really got it. I did go to a brand, I won't mention their name, but they said they loved the idea, but didn't see it working. And if I could bring, 100,000 footballs, they'd be quite happy to purchase these off me at $1 a piece. So I was like, this is really crazy. And I actually mentioned to the brand manager at the time, I said, guys, you're talking about footballs. What about kids that have polio, special needs kids? What about the kids that can't kick a football, boys and girls that can't do that, or are not even sporting, right over these guys' heads, Anyway, during that time as well, I did manage to sort of fund, as I said, various pilots, put some ideas down and bring them to TV. I did a couple of trials, proof of concept, if you like, with Silverbird Television back in, I can't ever remember that, maybe that took until maybe about 2015. And Silverbird very kindly, they completely understood it. They very kindly gave us a morning slot, 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, a 2-hour morning slot that at the time I called Kid Zone. We went live with our kind of content, and when we got the day part analysis, viewership during the day, we were really pleased to see that during that sort of 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock time that they had given us, there was a nice little spike in just a few weeks. So this encouraged me because I realized that there was potential for the kind of content I was trying to put together. So I know I kind of joked a little bit earlier about having a private jet and all of that. Of course, we all want to make money, but in the process of learning about the importance of the kind of content I wanted to create, this, if you like, this dream became more and more vocational and less about the money. And what do I mean by that? It got to the point where I would see every single child walking along the road, going to school, a 5-year-old taking the hand of a 2-year-old and walking through mad traffic. And these children want to learn. So it became more and more vocational, as I say. And then I started just living and breathing this thing. And it almost drove me mad because I could see the potential now, no longer the financial potential, but the potential in changing the mindset of the nation. This was real nation building. The mindset of nation from such a fundamental level, where we would be talking to kids with no political aspiration or apolitically, a-religiously. Our communication with the kids, it didn't, and because of our programming, it didn't matter where you were from in the country. The learning that could be achieved and the nation building that could be achieved by what I was trying to do it just became all-encompassing. And, I must admit, I put my poor wife through mad times. We didn't go on holiday. We didn't get the new car. We didn't buy the aeroplane, all because I realized that this was vitally important to unabashedly lift the nation, Nigeria, up, and from such a fundamental educational entertainment level. So if we fast forward, so that became my passion. If we fast forward then to finally 2018, the end of 2018, I was in the office of friends of mine, Ali and Hadi Safiuddin, and I was waiting to see them, and their older brother, Haitham, came into the office. He came and he said, what's happening? What are you doing? And I said, I showed him a couple of things that I'd shot, and I said, this is what I'm trying to get off the ground. I'm coming to your brothers to see who they know, see where I can raise some money to get this thing going. And he looked at it and he went very quiet. And then he said to me, I've just got the hairs on my neck have just gone up. And he said, where's your platform? Have you got a platform? And I said, no. This is still, I'm still trying to just get it together, see what kind of content works. And he said to me, Carl, get a platform and I'll get you the funding. And that's really what happened. So this zipped us through, that was, as I say, the end of 2018. Then I went to somebody, our chairman, who we all consider our older brother, Francis Ogboro. I went to him and I said, Francis, I need your help here. I've got to get a platform for this idea. And the Safiuddin brothers have said that they'd be interested in funding this thing. Who do we know? And Francis said, well, I know the Honourable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. Is that of any help? And I was like, yes, yes, kind of, that's exactly the person that we need to see. And he was amazing too. He just said, right, we'll go up to Abuja together, which is the seat of government in Nigeria. And sure enough, within 2 weeks, we went to see the minister. And, on the way in the aircraft, Francis is telling me, these are ministers, you've got to be real quick with these guys. They don't have a lot of time. They're incredibly busy. I was I was sweating profusely. But anyway, we get to Abuja, we go to the minister's office, and I kind of calmed down because, Francis seemed to know everyone. We went in to see the minister. And the minute I saw the minister, I immediately liked him. And there's Francis saying, you've got probably tops 15 minutes, you've got to make your case quickly. And that's what I did. We didn't leave the minister's office for 2 hours. We were talking about everything from the importance of this kind of programming to the general, entertainment scene in Nigeria. It was a very interesting conversation. The minister then introduced me to somebody from his office, Mr. Segun Adeyemi. And I quickly went to see him and I said, look, this is what we're about. This is what the minister has asked. And we need a platform. And this is how basically we got onto the Star Times platform, channel 129. And if I tell you that it just happened so quickly, everyone that I had spoken to, from the minister to Segun Adeyemi, to the COO of Star Times, Tunde Aino, completely understood finally what I was trying to do. And that's how we were able to develop what is now Pineapple TV on the Star Times network. There is a need for other platforms in Nigeria to look at carrying not just Pineapple TV, but other channels that would begin to develop the same kind of content or a similar content that we are doing. You know, in other countries in the world, there are 3 or 4, 5, maybe even 6 different channels that actually provide different content, but aimed at that market segment. I think it's important as well to just mention that once we finally went on air, you've noticed I'm always saying kids, kids, kids. The initial idea was that we would be communicating with the child. Now, our bouquet, our content is various. We have animations, we have natural history shows, we have live action short movies, and everything else in between that would communicate with the child. But everything was what we call edutainment, so educational and entertaining. We have celebrities reading, you know, beautiful stories from Africa, and that kind of thing. So when we went on air, some of the data that started coming back to us was that it was actually mum and dad watching as well as the kids. And then a little bit later on, we started having kids at university, young adults, getting in touch with us and saying, you know, what you're doing is amazing. Where was this when we were children? So we changed our focus then, not just to be content for children, but to broaden that a little bit. So we now firmly say we are a family-orientated, safe viewing space for the Nigerian family and, of course, the African family. In terms of our content, 95% of what we show on our channel must be made on the African continent. That leaves us 5% to be able to work, you know, do joint productions internationally. But the reason for this is because we feel that, you know, really and truly, you need Africans to tell the African story. So we have various shows. We have a show, for example, called In Your Garden, which is about the animals that we would see every day in our garden. So physically, as we go outside, you'll see lizards and whatever. More broadly, you'd be talking about the garden of Nigeria. And then as we develop this show further and further, we'll be talking about the garden of Africa. But in that case, I mean, you know, this is basically a natural history show. It's Nigerian cameramen, Nigerian directors that actually stand in the lake with the crocodile or with the snake and film. You know, we have, of course, as I mentioned, we've got story shows, you know, where we're telling folk tales, African folk tales. One of the shows is called The Storybook, in which we have celebrities, Nigerian celebrities, reading stories from inside a magical African hut where anything can happen. So they narrate the story, but we use illustrations, for example, in this particular show, to try and get kids back into the mindset of reading books. And there's a lot of science that goes into the creation of children's content. So, for example, in that show, even though we're aiming at an audience of maybe 8 to 14, so quite broad, there will be maybe 2 words in the whole story that maybe the child won't really know. So they're forced to ask either their teacher or understand the context in which that word is spoken or ask their parents. We've got animations in which all our characters are black or brown. So it resonates with our viewing, with our audience. And we've an awful lot more besides. And I will just say that so I've been talking about Pineapple TV, but the pineapple productions and media brand, if you like, has become more an initiative, okay, of which the television channel is just one aspect. Pre-COVID, we collaborated with Murtala Mohammed Airport 2, MMA 2, and during the month of December 2019, we put up basically what was just a box. It was Santa's grotto. We put a huge box together, and when kids walked inside, it was cold, they had snow, we got sponsored gifts. So as they came, they saw a 3D Santa, and kids really enjoyed it. So you're going from the hot Lagos sun straight into this cold, different looking place, if you like, and where there were elves and there was snow and there was, Christmas carols and all of that. And we had a footfall of about 3,000 kids from various walks of life. From orphanages, from public schools, private schools, you name it, they came. And every single child left with a gift bag full of sponsored gifts. So these are the kind of things that we want to do more of as we get more established. And you never know, maybe in future we'll be talking about pineapple museums, libraries. This is really it. So the initiative is a big one. But I really think it's something that we will be able to accomplish. So the Pineapple TV initiative, both on-screen and off-screen initiatives, gives brands and sponsors a chance to communicate and advertise to a target audience that is, in terms of the Nigerian market, is really quite neglected. So we give brands, sponsors, a chance to communicate with that core audience with guaranteed safe viewing.